People. Y'all think I be playing, right? Huh, no, I don't be playing. Ah, boy, where do I start? You know what? This person that I'm about to bring on, he really needs no type of introduction. But I am going to give him one. All right? Now, without further ado, this guy is a legend. Let's bring on and welcome the barber, Phil Valentine. That's right, people. Phil Valentine. Come on. Clap it up for him. That's right. The man of the hour, Phil Valentine. If anybody that don't know about this man, you haven't learned anything yet, you're going to know and you're going to learn today. Now, this interview style, I'm gonna make it a bit different. The elder did tell me, have the questions for him and stop him when, if he going off. But I know y'all people like that. So y'all are here. Be respectful. We got the barber, the elder, Dr. Phil Valentine. Y'all see the title, joelbenjamin528 interview Dr. Phil Valentine, February 26, 2017, Tickets on Eventbrite. That's the event he is coming with. Talking to this man, he is no joke. I'm gonna just let him take it away. Say hello to the room, Doc.
Greetings, Hotep, to the family, and thank you to Brother Joel for this kind invitation to address the family.
All right. Now, Doc, I'm gonna go just jump into it right away and share my screen. So people, I don't want to hear no excuses, people. I don't want you to say, well, damn, brother, we didn't know the event. We didn't know Phil Valentine was going to be in Brooklyn, New York. We didn't know we could live stream it. Nah, y'all ain't going to stick that on me. We ain't playing them games. So let's share the screen and show people. Hopefully y'all could see my screen. I'm sharing. All right, King Simon's 50th Earth Month celebration presents Dr. Phil Valentine returns to Brooklyn, New York, Sunday, February 26, 2017. No tickets sold at the door. That's very important, people. So you want to contact King Simon and get your tickets right away. It will be at St. Francis College, okay? So there's no excuses. No tickets will be sold at the door. I repeat, no tickets will be sold at the door, okay? For event tickets are $35 early bird, general admission, okay? $45 general admission after February 19th, 2017. And VIP tickets, $65, okay? Now, I already know a lot of people want to get that VIP. So come out to it. It's at St. Francis College, all right? Y'all could call Nicholas Brooklyn 858-4400, and we will have tickets there. Also, we will have tickets in the Nicholas Harlem. All right, that's located at Harlem at 212-289-3628. Okay, so you could come pick your tickets up because no tickets will be sold at the door. And for vending or anything else, you could always contact King Simon at 347-496-1022. Now that we have that taken care of, as you could see, we have the Eventbrite. Those are for people that's in China, Germany, wherever you at, right, Doc?
Right.
You could buy the tickets on Eventbrite. You see the link. I will be also posting the link in the chat for the people, and it will end up being in the description box. Okay, so Y'all got to get on this. No excuse. And when y'all go on this, the Eventbrite link, that's connected to the Facebook, you press this right here. Going. You see? Boom. It shows that I'm going. we gonna be there. We gonna make sure we get our tickets and do what we have to do. So there's no excuses, right, Doc?
Indeed.
All right. So, Doc, where you been, man? Talk to the people, Doc. It's
Yeah,
been a long time, Doc. The people
indeed.
are crying out, where are the elders? Where are the elders? Now I know you seen what been going on. And you
Yeah.
know, all I could say is I remember when you said this not 3 years ago, not 5 years ago, not even 10, but at least about, you would say maybe what, 13,
Yeah.
14 years ago?
Approximately, yes.
Okay, see, I got a good memory because I remember when the first time I met you in Brooklyn. All
Yeah.
right, downtown Brooklyn, a matter of fact, on Fulton Street.
Right.
Um, how do you feel about, briefly, because I know you could go in when you're ready. How do you feel about that? Because you did give the warning.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't remember you gave a warning on that, and you also spoke about it in a lecture. Am I correct?
Indeed. Indeed. In a couple of lectures, and as well as in in interviews such as the one we're doing right now. And what would be the determining factor for undermining the platform that the elders like myself that came up in my generation before me as well? I tried to tell people what would be the undermining factor that would cause a lot of division, derision, a lot of hostility, and a lot of, well, at least building up what would be called the cult of personality. And that would then cause camps to be built. Camps are going to be in contention with one another. Well, essentially, I don't want to get too deeply involved in what I said and the minutia, but I will be speaking about that at the event. But I did warn all the parties that were there at the time to go down a certain road. And if they did, what would happen? I even told them off camera, I told them in private consult, over the phone, in public, them over and over again, that the more they participated in that particular type, that it would cause the type of hostilities that would grow into even fistfights. They didn't listen. And of course, we're here now, and everybody is saying, well, what did the elders and why didn't the elders step in? Well, as I was saying to you before, sometimes when a parent is telling a child what not to do and forewarning them, and being that I'm 66 years of age, and some of them are not as old as me, but old enough to know better. And I told them what would happen. Sometimes the parent has to stand back after telling the child don't put their hand on a hot stove because it would burn, and they keep doing it, doing it, doing it. Well, sometimes the parent got to say, okay, go ahead, keep doing it. And until that time, it burned, then they come crying or they tell you, why didn't you stop me or whatever. I'll tell you this: I'm not going to name names. What I'm going to do is to point out what it is that was done, and to show it in such a way, in an impersonal way, so that people who would tend to follow that path again would understand that that is the path that caused the derision and madness that we're participating in today. It isn't necessary for me to actually call out the people involved. They know who they are. And people today, based upon all of the nonsense they've seen, the backbiting and the screaming at each other, they know all parties involved. I know all parties involved, and I know them before they became known to everyone else. And these warnings came because I knew that they would be in the public eye, and there was a certain etiquette, especially a certain type of unity that had to be displayed maintain the cohesiveness of the community, but that did not happen. So, like I said, I was disappointed, as I wanted so hard, so badly to go into this madness and say, stop it. Nobody was listening. Sometimes when people are fighting and backbiting and they're in the heat of a battle, you can't talk to them. So you have to back away from it, let it happen, let it destroy itself, because essentially this type of representation of the conscious community has to die. It has to die out. It has to die of its own volition. It has to create its own and participate in its own cultural suicide. And so when that part of the so-called conscious community, which was named because we were underground, it was actually the underground in New York, the underground metaphysical community. It became the conscious community because it came to the surface and people began to brand it as such. But it was an underground phenomenon. And the people who brought their cameras in were allowed to do that only because we allowed them into that space. But like you're saying, I'm very disappointed and didn't say anything, because those who were there at the beginning knew what I said at the beginning. Sometimes they began to call me and coerce me into coming to join them in this nonsense. You know, could you participate in this bartering back and forth, this debating back and forth? And I'm saying, no, I wouldn't. I already made that clear that I wouldn't ever participate in that. But anyway, I will be speaking to it as an elder, as a benevolent elder. I ain't bringing a sword. I ain't bringing arguments. I'm not bringing any vicious revenge mode. The "I told you so's" will be implied.
Well, that's something that people won't want to miss. Now, I know that for a fact. Like I said, anybody who's not familiar with you, you deal on so many lines when it comes to metaphysics, health. Um, it goes so far and beyond what you deal with. Now, this is the thing, Doc. I remember you and other people was a few. When I say other people, I mean a few top lecturers at the time was saying stuff about COINTELPRO, because everybody like to throw this word agent around and they don't really understand, and they think that an agent is somebody that could just come from outside and infiltrate. They don't know that an agent could be somebody that's been, have pressure put on them to do certain things within a community, within an organization. And I remember learning that from you, people like Bobby Hemmett and Dr. Dilbert Blair. I don't know if you want to speak on that.
Well, I told people that people may unconsciously act in agent capacities. They may, because of their lack of knowledge, ignorance, and adopting certain types of actions and philosophies that cause us to be undermined or cause damage mentally, psychologically, even physically to the health of our community, that they act in the agent's capacity. They act as an asset, as it's called, or someone who they've turned for an asset, as an asset for those who are actually the provocateurs in our community. So there are people who rise to the level of a personality, and they become part of a cult of personality. And that cult of personality now, because of that influence, they have the tendency to lead or to be seen as leaders. Well, there are no conscious community leaders. They are only people that the people themselves respect. For instance, I say that there are no princes in the conscious community. There are no King Kongs in the conscious community. There are no potentates. All of these names are assigned to people who are seeking personality status. They just knew me as the Right Reverend Valentine. period. Right and exact. That's what they told me I was. They told me that I was a teacher. They told me, they called me elder after I reached my 60s. These are not something you go out and say, I am this and I am that. The people, after they have listened to what you've had to say, enacted upon what you've had to say, found that they could benefit and better their lives by what you've had to say, implemented it, then they're the ones who bestow whatever titles, whatever honors. And you have to remain in a humble capacity to receive that, because that's how the universe works. I told everyone, you cannot take this information, especially metaphysical information, and banty it about as if it's the, the new kind of toy or it's the new bling. Doesn't work like that. You're dealing with forces. These are the creative forces. And if you mess with creative forces, you will create whatever it is the intention behind that force will bring about. And so people are now beginning to understand what I'm saying. They used to poo-poo metaphysics. Metaphysics is that and it's all blah and it's all this and hypothetical. No, it was nothing to do with that. It is a science of the mind and how the mind perceives reality and how it changes reality. So yeah, you see it now. It becomes more and more prevalent. And I guess this is time. And Brother King Simon asked me to come out and do a lecture because he's been begging to come out and do a lecture, and I've been telling them no. I've turned down more gigs over the last few years, and this is like thousands and thousands of dollars. I've turned them down because I thought the people weren't ready for it. There was too much tomfoolery with all of this debating back and forth and this nonsense going back and forth. And I said, that's not the platform that I helped create. So when the people are ready for that platform once again, I will graciously come out and do my best to show what it was supposed to look like.
Now, I know for a fact you're telling the truth on that, because some people just can't understand how an individual could turn down $5,000. You understand? Or for just showing up being somewhere 2,000 or however much. And one thing I noticed with you and Bobby Hemmett, y'all never had a problem talking about money. You said this is what it is, and that's that. Now, this is the thing though, Doc, because just what you said already, I know it and you know it. You're going to piss off a lot of people. And I also know you don't care. I do know that for a fact. You don't care. You've been around too long, been through too much. I mean, so you don't care. But remember, you said something. I'm gonna test your memory because I know you use all them herbs that's good for the mind. You remember when you said something about sleeper cells? Do you remember that lecture you did?
Yeah.
And how they could be planted within the community, and how some of them could be just put under a type of mind control, a brainwashing effect first, and then a mind control. Do you remember that piece you gave?
I remember it. I remember the few times I spoke about the sleeper cell and the fact that not just sleeper cells that were programmed, but just the education system that cranks out these PhDs who think.
Doc?
Yes, hello?
Oh, you was on mute there for a second. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Now I was saying that the sleeper cells are not just sleeper cells that people are automatically go and just give them MK Ultra programming. Sleeper cells are also coming out of the education system with PhDs. And these PhDs essentially have programmed them.
You dropping out again, Doc. You for some reason you was dropping out. I don't know what's happening. See, that's of the devil. That's what I always say. Whole time you was going good. As soon as you start building on something, the stuff is cutting out. Go ahead, Doc. Talk to me here.
Can you hear me again? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. I was just saying that sleeper cells are not just sleeper cells that people are programmed like MK Ultra or any sort of mind control. Sleeper cells are coming out of the education system. And that education system gives them or arms them with information that really doesn't solve the problems in our community, until we educate ourselves based upon the problems that are for us, about us, and not trying to fit what they are telling us we need. We know what we need. We understand that, and we have great teachers that tell us we are essentially dealing with sleeper cells, and people come into the community with what they think we need, or those who come in and take advantage of a specific venue instead of using it for what it was actually created for, begin to use it as a form of capital income rather than enhance it and to nurture it. There's a difference. You can nurture the platform by giving it the proper venue, the proper speakers, specific rules. The speakers can talk about anything. They can, frame whatever it is they want to speak about. They can say it any way they want to, cuss if they want to, and whatever it is, we got that. But if they're going into contentiousness, and if they're trying to build up a personality as a means of creating an income or a income stream, then we'll have a problem. Then we'll have a kind of hungry animal or a beast that needs feeding consistently. Because if you make one person a star and tell everybody that this is what they have to say, and you need to listen to what they have to say, and then that person pretty much sells out, and what he or she has said sells out, you're going to have to get him on again and get that person to start speaking again and then film again. And the best way to do that is to start contentiousness, to start, instead of learning and dealing from the crown chakra, you're dealing from the root chakra now, and you want to deal with hostilities. You want to say who will win this battle, and that's not what this is about. And those who know, those who've been there at the beginning, and the young people who have woken up and asked me to come and teach, that they want to join the university that we have, those people, they begin to understand that this is a place, when you come into this type of learning, it's a space that's quiet. Not quiet to the sense when you're speaking and you're entertaining and entertaining people and you're giving people the knowledge. Yeah, you can be theatrical. It's always good. It's fun. It's fun to learn. It's fun to exchange. But when you're coming into a place like what we're doing right here, when you're coming into the school, it becomes a beautiful thing when you begin to see how the silence teaches you. It's not just the teacher that teaches you. It's the silence that teaches you. It's you not having the cacophonous noise. Your heart rate has to be down. It can't be racing for you to really learn anything, because then you're in protective mode. You're into defense mode. And they don't understand that these are the metaphysics that are behind all of what the so-called conscious community is supposed to represent.
This is the thing, Doc. The people from the old school, as they would say it seemed like they cared about what's been going on more. And the other people, it seemed like they started out that way, but money became a factor. Is it done by design? Is the powers that be and said, well, we know this would happen? Because just the same way how you broke it down, you could see, because some people say, well, the reason why they're doing it is because this is their only source of income. But at what price does it take the cost of the people?
Yeah, that's a good point. I remember there was one brother Big Man, and somewhere down the line was Brother Shabazz, then Brother Rich. And these brothers would be on the streets every day promoting, getting people to deal. That's when the VHS tape was the big thing at that time. And they were out there making an honest dollar, promoting with our permission because they were selling what they had put in and invested for, and they were getting their investments back. And it was a kind of economy that was created. In fact, to tell you the truth, the so-called conscious community that Bobby, myself, Delbert, Brother Jamal on the coast, and Brother Mfundishi, Baba Heru, these are the names of the real conscious community. We created an economy, a real economy. And
Fact.
it's funny now because it seems that someone hijacked it. They jacked it, the economy, or jacked the modus operandi of that particular economy, and took out the actual impetus that was the intention behind that type of economy. It was an underground economy, it wasn't above the ground. And when you begin to make a certain amount of money and you begin to build up on it, and they tell, of course, people are going to be pissed off with what I'm saying. You know, I don't know, I'm just an old head, and you don't know what time it is today, and these are how the young people are working today, and all this type of nonsense. Listen, you can never live longer or older than your elders. And then I don't care how old I got, I was never older than my teacher, Dr. John Henry Clark. So there's nothing that I could say to him other than here's how to do the new things with the new machines and new this. But as far as wisdom was concerned, why would I want to tell someone who was the advisor to Malcolm X that he was wrong, that he didn't know what he was talking about? Today, young people don't have that type of respect because they've been given the platform to stand on shoulders, and they've been given the technology to do for self. These are what I call the cut and paste scholars. They don't understand and understand what went on to get the information, or to even let people know that the information existed at that level. I didn't have the internet, and I'm not crying about it, but I'm telling you how it was. I didn't have the internet. I had to travel to Philadelphia. I had to travel to California, travel to these different places so that I could find the libraries that hid the books. I had to join in these particular organizations, Rosicrucians, Theosophists, go into their libraries and see what these white people had of our information. I had to sit there hours on end from dawn to dusk writing things down. I have pads, yellow pads. These yellow pads you will see right here. I have stacks at least 4 feet high and about 7 or 8 of them across of just that, of writings that I took as notes, that I read instead of just blurted out and spoke about in my many lectures. That's how information was gotten, through that type of sweat. Today, because everything now is on the internet, it's easy for you to just cut and paste and say, boom, here, I know knowledge now. I got all of it because it's right here and now. Now, don't get me wrong. They got some young brothers and sisters out there that can cut and paste because they're old souls, and then listen to some of the things that the elders are saying, and then match that, and then go through a type of fast-paced vintaging or fast-paced mellowing of knowledge, and then find for themselves inside of their own hearts what they have. These are the latent geniuses that are taking the information forward. But then there are those who are using that information to go ahead and beat their chest and to think that they are building some kind of intellectual, mansion for everyone and adore them with. That information is not meant for that. The information that they're giving is stagnant. A lot of people say, well, it's just information. All this talking and not doing anything is no solution. That's nonsense. I can tell you right now that I've been in this business nearly 40 years. And the business is my people. And people say, well, what did you do? You got all this teaching. People really believe that all I do is metaphysics. They don't understand that I'm also a doctor. I'm a doctor of naturopathic medicine, and I've been doing that part in the community for that long. I've been doing vaccination exemption packages for over 27 years. I was the first to introduce the vaccination exemption package in the Black community across the country. Most people don't know that. I was the first to, we were the first to introduce the university online with a new technology. There are things that we were doing behind the scenes as it was supposed to be done. But because we're not grandstanding and beating our chest, You don't know that we've seen thousands upon thousands of people. I have 35 godchildren, women that doctors had told they couldn't babies. Their families came to us, their husbands or wife came to us, and we helped them to bring forth a seed where the doctors had given up on them. They don't know about that because we don't beat our chests and say, here's what we do. See, the metaphysics is just to teach you how to recognize what you require to build yourself and to grow spiritually, physically, mentally, and so forth. It's not there as a place for you to grind your wheels, sit there and say, look at what I know, gather around a water cooler and say, guess what I heard. It's nonsense. That's not what this is about. There's more going on behind the scenes, and people who don't know what the conscious community really is would then say, see, I told you, look at that. That's the conscious community. See, that's tomfoolery and this, and that's why I hate them. And that's because you're looking at, you know, intellects gone wild. You know, like girls gone wild. Well, there's intellects gone wild. You understand? So what I'm saying to you is there is a conscious community, but what you're looking at is not. I'm going to give you the names of the brothers and sisters that constitute the real conscious community when I get there in February.
Doc, now this is the thing. You did say a lot of important stuff, right? So now, we all know what's been going on. We all know that predictions was made. I'm trying to make sure I phrase this properly to you. When did you come to a point where you said enough is enough? Because I'm telling you why I asked you that question before you answer. Because you're a man that done dealt with Brandy. For anybody who don't know who Brandy is, it's from the show Moesha. A matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, you're the one who told her to, you know, start having some children. People don't know the connections you have with a lot of these famous people. Mm-hmm. You don't brag about it. Mm-hmm. And the question should really be, why don't you brag about it? Because other people will take that and use it for efforts to fool the minds of the people and scam them. What made you so different and the ones who came before you so different? Because you deal with a lot of famous people that's out in Hollywood and in the music industry.
Yeah, and I respect their privacy. I could tell you that I know famous entertainers who I am their counsel. I have famous basketball players, football players. I even have professors at MIT as my students, believe it or not. I have Air Force pilots. I have all over the world. I speak to people who come to my school. And that does not mean that I need to go out and start speaking about this is this and this. Every now and then I would mention it because it would come up in the conversation. But anything beyond that point is none of anybody's business. I cherish the trust that the people who are in the limelight put in me to actually, you know, ask me, you know, for my advice. I cherish that. And I like the fact that I can have access to them because they keep me in a world that they let me know what it is that I'm facing, what I have to teach, what I have to prepare young people who come from behind them, what I have to prepare them for based upon what they're telling me, that if I know a young boy who wants to go in and become a basketball player, I have somebody who's on the Bulls or on the Orlando Magic who I could talk to, and he could talk to them and tell them, hey, here's what the deal is. So it is not a matter of me going out and saying, hey, everybody, look at who I know. That's for people who want to be in the limelight that way. And it becomes more dangerous, to tell you the truth, when you start talking about how much you know and how many people you know. That's not the way. I mean, you know, that's the Tavis Smiley protocol, I call it. Tavis Smiley likes to get everybody online, and everybody want to come there and get their 15 minutes of crying and yelling and screaming, what's wrong with us black folks? I'm sick of that. I say the way that people do their work is the way that you see these other people who are ruling the world. They go into the ground, they go underground. You know, they have their private meetings. That's the ones who rule the world, not the ones that's out there beating their chest and glamorizing and, you know, putting on their makeup and all that crap. That's not what runs the world. See, so I'm not sure whether or not, you know, this is a, you know, this is going to sit well with people. I really don't care, like you know. I say what I mean what I say. A lot of things that I've said, people are angry with me about. I don't care. A lot of things that I've said, people are happy about. I don't really care about that either, because that's not my I'm not looking for rewards. I'm not looking for smiles. I'm happy that the fact that whatever it is I said 20 years ago, people are coming back and saying, guess what? It is. I say, well, good. Then if that's the case, do your due diligence, study. I've shown you how to get to that particular place where you can be predictive. You can do that, but you have to study everything. You have to know how to find the inside, and you have to know how to autopsy information that they give you. Why? Because information is dead. It's dead letter. Information is dead letter. I teach this to my students. And information is dead letter. It's only information, and it ain't got nothing. It's static. Information taken, digested, and utilized becomes knowledge. Now, knowledge, once you have taken it to the next stage, becomes wisdom. Wisdom, once you have marinated and understand how to utilize it, becomes enlightenment. So information don't mean nothing. And these young scholars is just pushing information. They're just kicking information. It has nothing to do with them telling the people how to transmute, how to alchemize that information into knowledge, and knowledge into wisdom. And then to apply that knowledge for their own benefits, to get their economics together, to get their health first, because they can't get their economics together unless their health is together. So unless they get their health together, then they get their economics together, and then they get together, period. Because they're so diverse, you know, everybody want to be a chief, like they say, and nobody want to be an Indian, so to speak. I know it's derogatory, but you got the idea.
Yeah, that's facts. Ain't nothing else you could say to that. You have what you just said was similar to like when I interviewed Baba Ashwa Kwesi, and a lot of people don't know that, you know, for some reason they see like the elders fell back, or the elders are not much in the spotlight. And I always tell people, it's not that they're not in the spotlight like that, is that people aren't really going towards the elders the way they should, because they know the elders will check them immediately.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Is that fair to say, Doc?
Yeah. Remember, society has taken eldership and trivialized it. Started back in the 1970s with a movie called Porgy's. And back in the days when the family were together, the father, the mother, and there was a unit, a true family.
You cut out again, Doc. Say what you said after you said unit, a true family.
Yeah, I was saying back in the days that they were the family, the mother and father, would then be something that you would look at and respect. You would come to the father, you would want to know what the father is doing. The father would teach his son what he knew. The son would respect the father. But after 1960 going into 70, when feminism began to come in, and Adorno, who was part of that of the Stanford Institute's experiment on mind control, they created a separation between the parent and the child by creating an entity, a creature that heretofore had never existed. That creature became known as a teenager. Okay? The word teenager never was in the vocabulary back then. The word teenager never existed. In fact, that clump of age never existed. What they did was they made it separate, a kind of separate entity from the family in order to co-opt the future. In other words, they knew that a family, a strong family, would follow in the line of the traditions of the parents because of the parents' influence. So they had to cut the parents' influence. And what they did was they began to create this teenager, and then through the media began to cause this kind of teenage youth-based worship where the youth were now the center of attention. They were the smart ones. And Porgy's showed you this. They used to have the young people being smarter than the parents and the parents being stupid. So they began promoting that to the young people. And then when the Beatles came over, after they were created by Rothschild, and Diodono was writing most of them, he was actually the fifth Beatle. Ordono was the one who essentially set it up. He set up the structure, and the Sanford Institute began to implement it. And so that's teenager. This creature called a teenager would be nurtured in the media, and he would be nurtured. She would be nurtured to drop out of the family structure, to separate themselves, and then have this clothing, have a dressing style, have a way of thinking and being that had nothing to do with the traditions. This is how you take over a society. You destroy that connection of the youth to their parents and their lineage, and have that child think about and act in a certain way that now supports the society that you want to put in place. And that's exactly what they did. And that then tied over into every other aspect of society, up until including what you see now being exhibited in the conscious community.
Now, I hear you and I understand that. So some people will say, well, Doc, that sounds like a form of white supremacy, that they did it to control the black families. But then when you turn around, you see that they're pumping the same system heavily into the white families and every other ethnic group as well. With the conscious community, now I don't know if you're going to speak on this in your lecture or whatever, but I'm going to ask you a question. Is your choice if you want to answer it. Do you see the conscious community with certain people in it using the same tactics as how COINTELPRO, Hoover, and FBI do the same type of tactics where they hijacking a system? Because you said something about the currency, how the underground community before it got turned into the conscious community have been hijacked, the monetary aspect of it.
Yeah, we again, we created a market for knowledge, and we weren't the creators more than we were the ones who popularized our teachers who were in the schools, like Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Van Sertima, Dr. Wilson. These were the people that had the courage to go into academia and to challenge the knowledge that was being promoted by it. It's not just white supremacy. It's a global takeover of the minds of the people. The racism that these people are playing on is to separate black and white at this time, which is something you come to know later on, to give each one of them a separate agenda and to cause an imbalance in that, so that they're constantly fighting with one another. And when they're fighting with one another, they don't see that there's a puppet master that's pulling everybody's strings, white and black. As far as us creating a market, we created a commerce-based consciousness that was based in consciousness. Our ancestors or my elders were responsible for bringing that to the fore. I sat at the feet of Dr. Clark, and we have pictures of those events. I was there with Dr. Ben at the time when he had his first heart attack, bless his heart. He called me from Texas at the time when he was in hospital, and he told me he's not going to stop eating pork, and he outlived everybody. Bless his heart. I've been there with Dr. Van Sertima, and we were there with Queen Mother Moore. People don't even know about Queen Mother Moore, the one who was down with Marcus Garvey. We had the privilege of sitting at her feet and helping her, and going there and working with her and helping to feed her when nobody was around. We were there making history, didn't even know that we were doing that. And that connection, that respect for what you see people doing one-to-one is gone, because now look at us, we're communicating this way. We have a piece of plastic right here between us. We didn't have that the last time. So you got to know people. You got to know them one-to-one. You got to know them because humans have to interact. They have to exchange. There's an impersonality now to the conveyance of knowledge that causes this kind of discrepancy, these kinds of hostilities, because the knowledge now is being transferred, or it's being passed on through an impersonal medium. It's become impersonal. Whereas we were sitting there with the people, we were crowding, we were actually arm to arm, we were rubbing up against the people, and we were there, we were hearing the cacophonous noises of the people exchanging knowledge. That's missing. And that is a very great part of what it is that our people needed. It was food, just the camaraderie and the coming together. Today, it's very few times like what you're seeing, but we come together because, you know, we can't all come together. I'm not saying it's all bad. We can't all come from California to New York on the 26th. We can't come from Chicago or Canada or Africa on the 26th, but we do have that ability to participate. But we cannot allow the medium to dictate to the humanity in us. And that's exactly what has happened. We've allowed the medium to take over and to create an impersonal impasse between us, that one-to-one connectedness that the underground metaphysical conscious community was supposed to be enhancing, not detracting from and eroding.
Okay. And I agree with you 100% on that. Now, this is the thing, Doc. Well, before I do that, let me, because I see we have some new people just joined in. So before I ask my next question, let me just go to this page real quick and show people once again the Eventbrite link, because this question that's coming up would be for people to use so they could be taught a certain way on how to, you know, dodge a bullet. Not an actual bullet, but I'm gonna show the people what I mean. Just let me share this real quick and show the people. All right, people, I'm going to share my screen with you real quick, because we have that Phil Valentine Eventbrite link. Again, no excuses, people. We have it here for you. Check it out. All right. See, it's on Global Media page. Shout out to Global Media. Phil Valentine. All right. He returns to Brooklyn, New York, Sunday, February 26th. All right, 2017. Remember, no tickets are sold at the doors. Also, VIP tickets are now sold out. Again, the VIP tickets are now sold out, but we might have 5 or 10 VIP seats. All right, that's the VIP package is sold out, but we might have 5 or 10 VIP seats left. Okay, if you want any information on that, contact King Simon right away at 347-496-1022. All right. Nicholas Brooklyn, we will be making sure we provide that live stream event. So you could just go to the stuff and just click there and see it take you exactly straight directly to it. You don't even have to say, okay, well, I want to purchase the ticket, go to Eventbrite. No, it's right there on Facebook for you. You just click get ticket. Okay, So it's too easy, in this, how you say, computer age that we living in. We made sure we made it easy for you. You ain't have to go far. Also, remember, Nicholas Brooklyn, every Tuesday we have the healing circle. All right. Crystal chakra therapy, Reiki, the whole 9 yards. Just check it out. It'll be good. Now, Doc, I see we coming down, we winding up. So I'm gonna ask you this last question, maybe one more, depending on the answer you give me. I might take just 2 questions from the audience just to hear what they gotta say, or if they got a comment for you. Now, with all this that's going on, Doc, I notice there's very few people that's able to keep their cool, not quick to run, jump on a live stream, or run, go out people and expose people. All right, I call it the YouTube demon, or the social media demon. You understand? And there's a lot of those. You know what I'm talking about when I'm breaking that down. How do you stay stable in your mindset to diffuse that? What are some of the techniques that you use? Because God knows it's very hard to do. So give
Yeah.
me some insight on what you do.
Well, I tell you this. I take it out on the invisible demon that is that thing that I see, that I've seen ignorance as a tangible demon. I see it as an entity that I can scream at. A lot of people have seen my lectures where I go off. You hear me cussing and yelling and screaming. That's therapy for me. But it's therapy based upon me.
Doc, Doc,
Yes.
your audio just went out again. We only heard the last part where you say it's therapy based upon you. What you said after that?
Okay. Well, it's therapy for me because it's my words are like ballistics against ignorance. I feel them as ballistics against ignorance. I am angry not at the people. I'm angry at the ignorance that is clouding our people. I love my people. Everybody, even those who hate me and think that I'm white. I say, you never seen a light-skinned black man before? You know, what kind of stupidness is that? Anyway,
Yo, hold on, Doc. Before you continue on that one, tell the people where you're originally from, man.
I'm from Trinidad. You see,
Okay.
my people is from Trinidad, and there's all kind of mix. It's Callaloo. It's mixed. Everybody's there. Chinese, African. We lived in a village. Where there was African mixed up with Asian and mixed up with everybody. So I mean, white, black, everything. It was a soup. It was a gumbo. But anyway, that's another thing altogether. But I don't see me at that. There was only one person that angered me by putting my name on a tombstone one day.
I
And
remember that.
yeah, putting it out there, and I had to blast him because a lot of people don't know what I know. I'm the one who stood by enemies by
I'm sorry, you just went out again. You said you're the one that stood by who?
stood by the river
Okay.
and watched my enemies float by. What that means is I have so much knowledge of so many things about so many people. I don't know why anybody would want to mess with me. And if I don't have it, I know how to get it. Because
Facts.
I'm a researcher, you see. But I'm saying, why would I want to do something like that?
I think they take that for weakness, Doc.
Yeah.
I think because
Yeah.
you don't, like, even when they say something about you and you don't come out and say, well, I know this about you, you slandering me, but this is going to be the truth on you. Being
Yeah.
that you don't I believe they take that as weakness.
I know that's because we have been trained to be contentious. That's where the disunity comes in. There is a disunity in me carrying on an alleged situation. and trying to make it real by angering you and getting a response from you. And I am a wordsmith.
One more time, Doc. For some reason you cut out again. You said you're a wordsmith.
I'm a wordsmith, they call me. So my elder, Dr. Clark, gave me a word to go look up. He said, you're a polymath. I didn't know what it meant at the time. So when I look at the word and I went and found out what polymath meant, it then made sense, because every time I would sit and talk with him, I would come with all different types of knowledge.
You cut out again, Doc. You said,
I don't know what's going on, you know. But,
yeah, that's of the devil, Doc. That's of the devil. As soon as you give an information, yeah, you said you would sit with him and you.
Yeah, and I would he would tell me that you're a polymath because you have this.
Oh wow, it's doing it again. I don't get what's going on. Your mic is all the way up. One more time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on anyway, but I just want to say that I don't look for contentiousness. Unnecessary. There's too much work to be done. Children that I want to make an impression of and for, and have a reputation. They called me back then the right and exact Reverend Valentine. Right and exact, because I made sure that my information, no matter where it came from a source that could be, whether the source was right or not, if it had anything to do with my community, or if it had anything to do, people who were, or celebrities were influences on my community, then I was going to bring that information out. I was going to say, for instance, everybody thinks that I was talking about, were pissed off at me because I said Malcolm X was the one who is, most people didn't know that I was the one that predicted Obama was going to be president when he was down there in 2005 in Katrina.
That's a fact. I still have that DVD. I have that DVD.
Right. And most people don't understand that there are things that I come upon as far as me and where I know to research, because people can research, but if they don't know where to research, they don't know all of the good things, like going to dig for gold. If you don't know where the gold is, you could be digging for all you want. I don't care how deep you dig, you ain't going to find it. So I told them, I said, listen, here's what these white people are saying about Obama. I didn't ever say that this is what it was. I'm saying, here it is, watch it, look at it, with all the evidence they bring it to bear. Okay? You don't like it? So it's all right. Do I disrespect Obama? I mean, Malcolm?
For some reason, you're cut out again. But let me just say this real quick. It's very important. I know you said you predicted it, but you did something that and just predicted, because a lot of people out there that don't know, you predicted it before the man was running. I don't want them to think like, oh, the man was running for president. I remember you said it and you was like, watch this man. You're going to hear a lot from him very soon. He just came out of nowhere, and this man, you're looking at the next president of the United States. I remember you said that. And this is before any election was coming up, anything with him thinking of running, anything like that. Am I correct?
Yeah, but see, I told him to watch the man as well, because he was at the time working as a British intelligence agent. And most people didn't know he worked for British intelligence until we began to break that story. And of course, as far as him being the president, I began to make that prediction when he was the first freshman president to actually speak at the and to headline the Democratic National Convention. That's when the prediction actually went down. But anyway, like I said, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that I use that as a reference point, because even when AIDS came out in 1984 with a big announcement, the CDC came out and said that we're being attacked by a new virus and all this. I went in and I studied, and I came out in 1985 and said it was a hoax. I was attacked, vilified for at least 5 years, no longer allowed to be on radio with my friend. I was not allowed to come out in the public. And then I created something called the Gathering of the Masters, where I began to work the underground and to teach people about the fact that HIV was not causing the AIDS virus. And I even talked to another good brother of mine, and since he's gone, I'll just mention his name, Kwame Ture. And we went to speak to him at the time when they said he was diagnosed. And of course, that story is something else, but we were trying our best to try to get people to know this. It wasn't until after a young boy by the name of Curtis Cost came to me and said, I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to investigate what you're saying, Dr. Valentine. And it was he who brought together a gigantic forum, conventional forum, where Gary Null, myself, and all the healers from across the country came to discuss the fact that HIV was a hoax. And it was because of that type of dynamism that we all collectively came together that they began to retool and restructure what the narrative became around HIV/AIDS, around the HIV/AIDS phenomenon. So it's not that I have not been there. I have been there from the beginning. Most people, young people, don't know about me. They think that those young pictures that they see on TV of me on YouTube, they think that's me. Look, let me show you. You see that? That's 66 years right there. All right. So I've been in this a long time, nearly 40 years. Not as long as my brother who went past, my elder brother, Dr. Delbert Blair. He was in this thing for like 55 years. But I was underground doing my own thing during that time before I came out. But I can tell you, I have been honored to have been called an elder by younger brothers and sisters, like the twins, but like the Black Dot, like my godson, Rashid. These were the brothers that actually gave me that title of elder. And I've been honored ever since to carry that mantle. And hopefully I grow in it. You know, I'm a sophomore at that. I don't feel like an elder, but I do definitely cherish that particular stature, and hopefully I've earned it.
Doc, all right. Let's take questions. We're gonna take like 2 or 3 questions. Like I said, it's the bottom of. We gotta wrap it up. I have a young lady on the phone named India. She has a question for you because you deal with metaphysics, right?
It isn't Irie, is it?
Nah. I'm gonna let her speak.
Why do you put me on this spot? Oh, you are so not right.
Come on, ask the doc your question. He's here now. Ask him. Come on, come with it.
Hello?
Yes, sister. How are you?
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I have one question about orbs. I have so many flying through my living room, my apartment, everywhere. And I just wanted to know, is each one an individual spirit, or I don't know. I'm really just grasping for straws. This is an experience for me. So.
What is she saying? She's saying that there's orbs?
Yeah, she want to know is the what are the orbs? Are they different entities? Each one are different entities? Are they formed by energy? You know, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, I know that, but you have to understand as well, perception is that thing that gives us an experience. Our perception codifies our experience. Now, you have to find out, first of all, where you are located. Where is your house? Where is your home? What kind of electronics are in your home at this time that could be disturbing the what I call bioelectronics, the biomagnetism of your own body. The reason why I'm saying this is because as a doctor of naturopathic medicine, when people are seeing orbs, it means that there is a lack of a specific mineral or nutrient in the brain that is creating a short circuit or a crossing of the wiring. And also, if you were vaccinated as a child and you have certain scarring in the brain because of that, that could be also a reason. A lot of people will start talking about the fact that, oh, well, you know, this is more mystical and Dr. Valentine. No, the first thing I teach people that every time they have what is known as a paranormal experience and they want to catalog it in a paranormal experience, first and foremost, check to see whether or not your physiology may be short-circuiting and giving you the way, if you have, like, you notice that sometimes, like you saw, like between Joel and myself, it will shut off and come on, shut off and come on. Well, sometimes if the body works like an electromagnetic bioorganism, and sometimes if there's a short circuiting going on, we could be catapulted to one side to the other, and we have this experience that we think is paranormal, but essentially it's our physical bodies that need certain nutrients or are lacking in certain nutrients, or because of a poisoning in our atmosphere, we have some kind of toxicity in the atmosphere. It is disturbing the electromagnetism of our bodies. First check that before you start going looking for paranormal reasons.
Yeah, Doc, that person, I know her personally. She came in the shop, and it's very crazy because she have actual recordings of it where she just set up the camera and you're seeing the orbs come up, float in front of the camera, and then zip away. So she actually does have the orbs coming through when she
Okay.
sets the camera. So
All right. Well, then if she does have that, then she has to look at the place that she's in, because the old houses have this infrastructure that allows for the Earth's electromagnetism to create a doorway. So if she has a specific, wherever she's living, check out how the building is structured, what are the materials it's structured by, and where her home is, where she's located, because she could triangulate to see what it is that's disturbing or allowing these orbs or what these light beings represent. What she's calling to herself could only happen if the environment itself becomes conducive for them to come through. So I would check the building itself, see where it's at, what its actually foundation is, how the electromagnetism, because they have what it is, they have these old buildings have these huge electrical transmitters or transducers or transformers. And these huge transformers can create conditions that allow or open up doorways for these little orbs to come in.
yeah, that's a fact. One of the things I told her as well, I don't know if you agree or will back me up on this, which I did hear you speak about it before. At Nicholas, Brooklyn, we sell the argon generators because of the electromagnetic field. And I told her, and you end up telling her the same thing with the fields and stuff that's going on. I told her, get an argon generator. We have them at Nicholas. They help, they work. I remember when stuff was going on at my job, and I put one of the argon generators there, and the chaos that started happening with the people, whoever wasn't good had to go. You're familiar with the argon generators, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I am. I see this here. This is what I wear to offset the magnetic energies that would cause that. And I suggest that she has one as well.
Yeah, I see, Doc, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
I have one
indeed.
too. Yeah,
Indeed.
I don't play no games when it comes
Indeed.
to
Indeed.
I have a next question. All right, we're gonna take two more. This next question is from Tanasha. Very good, sister. I'm gonna put it on speaker and I'm gonna let her ask you her question. Go ahead. You talking with Dr. Phil Valentine. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, just want to make sure you hear me. I am a 25-year-old female. I live in Brooklyn alone by myself. I wouldn't say I cling to any religion. I'm spiritual. I'm finding myself. do little candle rituals and spells. I wouldn't say I'm a pro and know anything, but it's spiritual and mental health. So I used a black candle and I did a banishing ritual to just rid myself from any childhood or negative energies. And it was good. I felt the spirit. I felt positive doing it. Sleep, knocked out, and I randomly wake up and stare at the ceiling, and I black smoke forming. Like it looked like a swirling, but like when you blow smoke and it's just like lingering in the air. It was like that by my ceiling, fire or anything. So I just on the internet they said, "Oh, you're getting rid of negative energy," but I really want to know what that was about.
Okay, from what I understand, she did a banishing ritual, and the smoke that was that after she woke up or during the time of it. That's
After.
It was after.
She seen the smoke. She said after she did the banishing ritual, she felt good. Then, she got real sleepy. She went to sleep. And then when she woke up, it was hovering over her bed.
Okay, let me ask a question now. Where did she get her candles? That's the first place we have to ask that.
Mm-hmm.
Second, did she get natural candles? Ones made of soy and had a...
I didn't, Doc, we didn't hear you for the last part.
Yeah, did she get a candle that had a cloth wick or a lead wick? Okay, so first of all, how did you dress the candle? That's the number one. Number two, if you're dealing with a black candle, the best candle to do that type of work of banishing is not just a black candle, a white candle as well is necessary, and you have to balance.
I'm sorry, Doc. She said she just texted me and she said she seen the black smoke 2 days later.
Okay, she seen there's 2 days later she saw the black smoke. Okay, if that's the case, then she didn't completely banish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I wish she'd come to me because I know how to dress the candles, and
right.
Quite frankly, I would have told her to get the white candle. You understand? So that's why it's important for people to start talking. Some people, I notice what a lot of people do, they go on the internet, Doc, and they get these stuff. Because I get people come to me in the shop and I'm like, yo, what you doing with all this? You don't need all this stuff. And that internet is a problem. And especially when they're watching other people with different shows and they leading them towards a atheist, satanic like downfall.
Yeah. Well, again, you have to look at the fact that even in dressing candles, looking at ways, and again, I've gone to the next stage. It's a good stage for people to learn to focus and to learn how to use their mind's energy and their intentions and how to dress a candle through intention. And in your intention now becomes embedded in the candle, which is why the choice of candle has to be very important up front. Quality of the candle, the kind of wick that's in the candle, it cannot be made of lead. You have to deal with, because that's the poisons, the toxins that gives you what you think is a spiritual experience. And if you have 5 or 10 candles going that have lead wicks, you're actually poisoning your brain. And you're thinking that you're having a spiritual experience when you're actually toxifying the mind, the brain. What you need to do essentially is when you're dressing the candles, and I think you would know this, they're first and foremost, that candle cannot touch anything. You have to go through a scraping ritual. You have to go through a ritual where you can sleep with the candle before you even dress it. You're not supposed to you're supposed to make that candle part of your aura, because wax is actually a permeable substance. It absorbs energy. And so once you have put the symbols, or what you've created a sigil, did you create a sigil of banishing? And when you put the sigil of banishing on the candle as it burns, you don't have to say the words anymore. As the candle burns and the wax melts, that particular sigil is permeating the air with your intention. And that's the way you dress a candle. So I'm not sure what that particular smoke is that was above you at that time. It could have been something that you opened up a door but did not close afterwards and then had a backlash. It's like trying to push something out and then leaving the door hoping that it won't come back in, but you left the door open.
I'm sorry, the stuff was on mute just now. So that's basically, because I tell people, you know, people want to get into the Ouija board. And when you're doing these type of rituals, it's just like when you're doing stuff with a Ouija board. Would you agree on that?
Well, again, these are secondhand tools for your brain to exercise the expression of intent. And the higher adepts, know, the ones who just know mind, they no longer use the tools. They can use tools to teach and to help people focus. But the more you use tools, the more you become dependent on them. The way you do that is everything is mind. Once you find out everything is mind, then amplifying the strength, the amplitude of output in energies of your mind, then you begin to understand that your mind can move anything just by its focus and its attention. So if you want to use a tool like a candle, if you want to dress a candle, you're dressing it with your energy, with your mind's energy. And if you don't see it that way, if you think the candle or something else is doing that, then you are taking the power from yourself and giving it to that thing. The idea is that even the orishas or whatever spirits you're bringing, they are tools. They're not entities to worship or to give any special attention to. You are the center of attention, and you are the one that's controlling the universe through your mind. Once you learn that, then you can use your tools with efficiency.
Facts. Some people, and you know, we have some people that practice that with the erasure, and they'll get mad for you just making that statement, Doc, which I know you don't care.
I love them too. They invited me to be initiated into Ifa.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were ready, and he was from Cuba. And when he found out that I was a priest of Jehudi, he said, "Wait a minute, Jehudi is Ifa. Yeah, you need it." I said, "Oh, okay, good." We became good friends.
All right, you see, that's how it is. This is the last question, because then we got to wrap it up. No, actually, you answered the question. Yeah, I'm looking in the chat because I'm trying to take a question from the chat. Last chance, people. Get your question in quick. Because after this, it's a wrap. We gotta end up this show. Okay. All right. So I don't see any more questions for you, Doc. Doc, could you please give out your information if people need to contact you or be part of your university? Could you please give that out to the people?
I'd be happy to. You can contact us at 800-847-1291. Again, 1-800-847-1291. And
say that number one more time because your phone, your link cut out again. Say that number one more time.
Okay, that's 800-847-1291. 800-847-1291. And I would tell everyone that if you wish to deal with the university, we are taking now enrollments for our late session, our late enrollment, come in on this semester. On top of that, I'd like to say to everyone that number also gives you access to other services. You can deal with our Juice Plus, our consultations, our vaccination exemption packages, and you could speak to Dr. Nolani and deal with our Institute for Self-Mastery, which is dealing with homeschooling. Most people didn't know we were one of the first people to do homeschooling online. Most people don't know that as well.
That's right.
I've been doing that. So I just want to let everybody know that at the 26th February, the main topic will be called or will be around the so-called Mandela effect. But I am not calling it the Mandela effect. I'm calling it the Mandela defect. And from that particular point, I will show you how mind control and the use of trans-dimensional technologies have now changed the timeline where the history of our challenges and our accomplishments will now be coming into question, just like they're messing with everything else. So with that, you begin to understand that we have a very, very strong day. And on top of that, Brother Rich will be interviewing me. He'll be doing the Donahue. He'll be doing, not Oprah. No, he'll be doing the Donahue or one of those, what do you call it? He'll be doing the Tavis Smiley. And I'm going to be, he's going to be interviewing me on stage, fielding questions. And I am going to reveal to the brothers and sisters the real conscious community and the names that you should look to and go to for counsel, for advice, for teaching, and for upliftment.
Facts. 100% facts. Let's do this one more time. Again, so the people can't say they don't know. For anybody that's now tuning in, they could see it for themselves. Hold on. Let me share my page. Let me share my page. Boom. As y'all could see, people, we have the King Simon presents Dr. Phil Valentine. Remember, again, tickets are not sold at the door. I know people like to come all late and think, oh, I'm going to get my ticket at the door. This particular event that's at St. Francis College will not be sold at the door. King Simon Productions Earth Day celebration. All right. This is his 50th. All right. Give it up for King Simon. Sunday. That's right. Can't get to my little applause thingy-me-jig. Sunday, February 26, 2017 at St. Francis College. All right. And let's do this. Let's see the tickets that's at Eventbrite. Okay. We got the tickets at Eventbrite. And you don't even have to go directly on Eventbrite because we work it out through the Facebook. So you could just go and click right here. The link I seen Basil from Global Media. He been putting the link up in there. Thank you, because it's difficult to try to go there, copy and paste and do all that. So I thank him for that. The link is being posted up, people. You could go and click your link. I seen the lady, she said that she's going to buy her ticket right now. The event starts at, wait a minute, we can't even see the rest of the flyer. Oh man, that's all right. We're gonna have the other photo, other photo there. If I'm not mistaken, it starts at the doors open at 2 and event starts at 3 p.m. Am I correct, Dr.?
I think the doors open at 1 from what I understand, and the event itself starts at 2 because there are preliminaries before my particular lecture.
Okay, excellent.
I believe that. Again, don't quote me, but double check. I think I heard.
Well, that's all right. Because India, like I said, she's already looking to buy her tickets. We got the tickets on Eventbrite. For more information, all y'all got to do is go check out the link. Matter of fact, let's see what happens when you press get ticket. You see, this is what comes up. You see how easy it is, people? So it's no excuses. We make it easy for you. All right. Yeah, it says 3 p.m. See? It starts at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
3 p.m. St. Francis College. All right. That's in New York. Brooklyn. No excuses. Y'all can get out there, and we have the Eventbrite tickets. You could purchase the tickets on Eventbrite. We make sure we have the Eventbrite link for you. All you got to do is, if anybody is confused on how to get the tickets, if they still not, because not everybody got Facebook, I understand that. All you have to do is go to Eventbrite. When you go on Eventbrite, you type in Dr. Phil Valentine, all right, and the ticket will pop up. So there's no excuse. The tickets will pop up. So you could also purchase your ticket on Eventbrite. And for the people who's here, the link has been posted in the chat a few times. So like I said, there's no excuse. Y'all know how to get it. Dr. Phil Valentine, I am going to give you the last word so we could close out.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for your kind invitation to address the family, first and foremost. I want to thank the people who took the time to listen. Hopefully you'll take more time and join us in person. If you have my book, I would be happy to sign it, because a few people have asked me to do that. You could set up consultations. We will be fielding questions and answers. But if you can, come out and support King Simon. He's one of the brothers that I had passed the torch to, at least from my own venue and from what I had been as part of a contributing factor to the conscious community. And he's been holding it down. I really appreciate what Brother Simon has been doing. And so, you know, if you really want to show him your love at this time, his 50th, boy, I remember when I just turned 50, so long ago. It was great. It's terrifying, but it's a great time. And you want to come out and support him, and support everybody who's been with him. You know, come out and listen to a lot of the brothers and sisters. And I know you're going to have a table there, if I'm not mistaken, Brother Joel.
Yes, I would. You know, like I said, we Nicholas Brooklyn, we're making sure we provide the live stream, and we would have a table set up there. So the people are gonna come out and have a good time. And people, don't forget to contact Simon if any vending. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, and so we're going to have brothers coming, that they told me, coming in from California, Chicago, out of Florida, Atlanta. Brother told me he'll be coming in from Kentucky. So this is going to be a beautiful gathering. We're going to show you what the conscious community really is all about. Kind of love and non-contentious exchange of love and information, so that we could then calibrate that, change it, alchemize it into information, from information into knowledge, and from knowledge into wisdom. For those of you who are looking for the services that we offer, again, the number here is 800-847-1291. Again, 800-847-1291. And with that, I want to again thank you, Brother Joel, and for the listening audience. Listen, let's all come out. I'd like to see you out there back in Brooklyn, our old stomping grounds, on Remsen Street. Allah, like you kids say.
All right, people, give it up for Dr. Phil Valentine. Come on, give it up for the man, legend. All right, that's right. All right, people, you've been watching Joel Benjamin 528, aka MC Spookism. Peace. Thank you for joining.